This is Richard Thorndike with BS News for this Monday, the 16th of May, 2011. And away we go. Dateline, what the huck? Mike Huckabee announced this weekend that he would not run for president in 2012, saying, quote, "My heart says no." Huck didn't mention it, but President Obama's approval numbers say exactly the same thing as Mike Huckabee's heart. Huckabee's departure from the race opened up a door for possible presidential candidate Donald Trump. Luckily for all of us, the door it opened for Trump is the exit. See ya! Dateline, cheap feel. Texas has passed a bill that bans intrusive airport pat-downs. The bill makes it a crime for anyone conducting a search to touch, quote, the anus, sexual organ, buttocks, or breast, unquote. A list they evidently arrived at in consultation with the girl I took to my junior prom. The graphic list was made a part of the law after legal scholars advised the Texas legislature that a law reading simply, quote, "Don't mess with Texas," was probably not enforceable. Dateline Gotham, or somewhere west of there. Police in Michigan arrested a man dressed as Batman, who was found dangling from the edge of a 30-foot building. Police pulled the Cape Crusader to safety, though by all rights they should have left him hanging there until next week's episode. Now nobody's gonna watch. Police were going to charge the man with being a public nuisance until they realized he wasn't actually Adam West. As part of a plea deal, the man avoided jail time and was instead sentenced to be trapped in a giant hourglass and slowly lowered into a shark tank. Stay tuned for next week's episode. I'm Richard Thorndike, BS News. Have a great week.
So I just saw a really incredible story on the TV there. There's a Race to the Top initiative, and I bet you most people don't even know what that is. But there are schools that are competing with each other, and whoever graduates the most kids so that they go on to college, that's the Race to the Top. That's the goal, basically, of the Race to the Top program. And, of course, the school gets the honor of the president's visiting and giving the commencement address to the high school that graduates the most students. The winner this year is a high school called Booker T. Washington High School in South Memphis. In South Memphis, the median income is $10,000 a year. These kids are being raised in ultra grinding conditions. They have a crime rate there that is astronomical. And yet this school managed to decide that one size does not fit all. They were not going to teach to the test anymore. No more No Child Left Behind bullcrap. They were going to offer a hodgepodge of classes, everything from AP science to technical classes, vocational skills, whatever, music, art, you name it. They were going to offer it and let the kids find their way and then use whatever it was that was inspiring them to get their grades up in the core classes. And it freaking worked. Booker T. Washington had a 4% graduation rate where kids went on to college. In 5 years, they have gone from 4% to 70% of their kids graduating and going on to college. And so today, the President of the United States promised and delivered. He said that if you, they also increased their math scores, the state average, 20% higher than the state average. This is in one of the most grindingly poor places in America that you could possibly imagine. And so today the president made good on his pledge that if you graduated, the most kids and they got accepted into colleges, that he would appear at the school. He went to the school today, Booker T. Washington in South Memphis. And there's flooding all over the South, especially Memphis, Tennessee. And so the kids are very emotional. Not only did they lose their homes in a the homes were condemned. They lived in public housing, and the public housing units were so old and disgusting that they had to take them and bulldoze them. And so they really were, they were thrown out of their houses. Their parents make, an average $10,000 worth of salary. The kids were living in massive, massive crime-infested neighborhoods. And they managed to graduate 70% of this high school class and get them accepted into college. Their state math scores were 20% higher than the average state score at that school. President went there today, and the kids were so emotional. And these are high school kids, so they're not little kids. They're, kids that are 17, 16 years old. And they just broke down. They were just hysterical crying. They said it was the most inspirational visit that, even the reporters said they'd never seen anything like it. These kids worked so hard and literally graduated 70% of their class instead of having a dropout rate of 80%.